What a nice way to start off our next breed here. The young man's heifer that's going to lead off this class is one that just reads so elegant and beautiful look for me from the side. And when you stand behind this female with her build, you expect this one to get a little flatter, but she still has enough muscle expression when you study this one. And then when you set this female into motion, it's so elegant and beautiful to look at when she goes. She reaches up there and hits that stride, and that front knee flexes really well. One that's built really, really nice. Young lady's heifer that it's going to be second. One, it is a stout, powerful female. She reads a little bit more moderate for me at this stage in the game. One that gets opened up in her blade ever so slightly, but one that certainly carries around a lot of muscle and power. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Results of Class 2104 Junior Heifer Calves from March and later. First place and our champion Junior Heifer Calf Division winner is entry 2227, Stotler's Who's Who, exhibited by Paisley Mumford. And second place and the reserve champion Junior Heifer Calf went to entry 4056, RMN Miss L 504N, exhibited by Peyton Kaufman. We are now moving into Class 2109, our late senior heifer calf, with one entry.
Just single entry female here in our next class. A female, when you study, you get behind this one. She's so robust in her muscle design and opened up in that rib cage. You love the length of neck in this female. When she's set into motion, those back legs go quite well. For me, I'd like to soften this one up in the center part of her body design compared to her build, but one that certainly could stand some competition out here today. Congratulations, young lady.
Results of Class 2109, our late senior heifer calf class. First place and will be the champion of the senior heifer calf division is entry 4965 TEF Coco 24M, exhibited by Ella Piantron. Next in the ring is Class 2114, early summer yearling heifers, where we will have 3 entries.
Nice trio of females here in our next class. The young man that I'm going to use to start this class, a heifer that when you get her out here, she has all the right parts and pieces and design when you study her compared to the two heifers behind her. For me, where she sets herself apart is when you set this female into motion. It's not as fluid as I would like to see, but for considering the class, this is one of the more sounder, relevant heifers out here, but one that certainly has some power and mass. Young lady that's coming next here is your big stout, big muscle featured female. For me, though, she's carrying a little bit too much condition through that udder and that chest floor. And for me, when you set this one into motion, you'd like to see her take a more fluent stride out of that back too. But when she does stand and give you a look, it's a nice long spine and level hip. Just like to free that one up. Young lady that's going to round out the class, a heifer that just doesn't have the overall whelming pieces like the cattle in front of her. One that is one that's you get a little bit weary of this one at the ground when she goes. You would like to see her set on a square back foot, but a nice female built up top. Congratulations to these three exhibitors.
Results of Class 21-14 Early Summer Yearling Heifers. First place and our champion intermediate heifer went to entry 4680 MULL Sultry 281M, exhibited by Colton Haynes. Second place and our reserve champion intermediate heifer went to entry 1904 TCSC Who Can Deny 900M, exhibited by Jillian Shane. And third place is entry 3411 Oprah's Black Beauty, exhibited by Haley Coble. Now in the ring is entry 2117, April Junior Yearling Heifers, with 2 entries.
The duo heifers here in the next class. The gray heifer that's going to lead off is one that is so complete in her build up top. You love the way that she is designed from that forerib into the back of her shoulder. And for a heifer that is as stout as she is, that shoulder blade sits in her good when she gets out and goes. And you love the up-headedness, elegant look this one gives you all the way up through her jawline. And when you study her at the ground, her angles are so correct when she gets out and goes. Young lady's black and white heifer that's going to be second. It is a very fault-free female. For me, she doesn't have the overall pieces that are put together like the gray female. One, when you set her into motion, she gets more of a cowier leg when you study her, but two really high-quality females.
Results of Class 2117, April Junior Yearling Heifers. First place went to entry 2179, Winslow's Trust Rosie, 34M, exhibited by Macy Fessler. Second place to entry 3407, BERE Mariah, 233M, exhibited by Peyton Coble. Next in the ring is Class 2118, March Junior Yearling Heifers, with 1 entry.
Just single entry here, but certainly one that's very high-quality female. This one could stand a lot of competition. To be honest with you, I love this one's build. She's so good at the ground. She has that cow look when you study this one. She's up-headed. I would like to freshen her up in the top side of her neck ever so slightly, but that's being picky on a really, really good one. Congratulations, young lady.
Results of Class 2118 March Junior Yearling Heifers. First place went to entry 2531 TSSC BT Blackberry 4612M, exhibited by Addison Fenig. Next in the ring is entry 2119, our early junior yearling heifers, with one entry.
Really another high quality single entry here in our Chianina show. One that's so long spined and long necked, and when you study this one, you like the bone work and the overall design down low on this one. You love the swoop to this one's lower rib cage. I'd like to fill her out up top a little bit, but that's a really nice single entry female for this young exhibitor.
Results of Class 2119 are early junior yearling heifers. First place went to 3843 Jody E.T., exhibited by Brinley Wright. Now in the ring is Class 2120, our early junior yearling heifers from January, and we have one entry.
Another high quality single entry female one. It is so stout and powerful when you study this animal. When you get her here on the standstill, you love the angularity of this one. That knee set is so nice looking, hoof wall. And when you study the back too on this one, when she's standing still, they give you a nice look. I just love the overwhelming parts of this one in the center part of her body. She's opened up in that rib cage and gives you that nice look down low. One for me that puts a lot of good parts and pieces together. Congratulations to this exhibitor.
Results of Class 2120, early junior yearling heifers. First place went to 2465 JSUL Houdat Darling 4196M, exhibited by Connor London. Coming into the ring now will be our division class for our junior heifer division. Following that will be our grand champion key drive.
As we get our class winners back out here in our second place from the duo that came early in this division, I think this has been a very solid division with a set of cattle that are big-footed and good-legged. I think we're getting to that stage where these cattle are starting to open up in that rib cage and give you that more maternal look and still having a show ring presence about them. I think there's a pair of them that go together out here for me when it's getting sorted out. I'm going to lean on the one that's just more structurally correct when you put her into motion, and one that just carries a little more style and balance for me today. With that said, I'll go out and get your grand in reserve in this division. Let's give them a nice big round of applause.
Results of that division drive. Our champion went to 25:31 out of the March Junior Yearling Heifer class. TSSC BT Blackberry 4612M, exhibited by Addison Fennick. And our reserve division champion went to entry 2465 out of the early Junior Yearling Heifer January class to JSUL Who Dat Darling 4196M, Connor London. Now in the ring will be our grand champion heifer drive. Exhibitors and families, we just want to double check there are no bred and owned animals for the bred and owned drive. If you think there is one, please come to the table, but as per our records, it looks like there's no entries for the bred and owned class.
We get our division winners and reserves out here and start analyzing these cattle against each other. I think all the way from the calf up to the big bred heifer, We're trying to keep these cattle sound and functional at the ground. The calf out of that first division just gives you such an elegant, striking look when you study this one. She's long and level out of that hip and tail head, one that's good at the ground, and one that just reads a ton of future to me in my eye today. The heifer out of that next division is one that when you get her out here, she is the stoutest legged, one of the wider pinned females. But with that, though, I'd like to soften this female up in the center part of her body to keep her in the contentions today, but one that gives you a nice look when you study her, too. Female out of the next division, one that was in a class with some cattle that were just more of a contemporary group for me when I seen them out here. They were just big, stout, rugged cattle. For me, that class as a whole fell apart when you study them at the ground. But when you study this one out here, she has that elegant design as the females on either side of her, and one that is just a little stouter made up through that jawline and then the top side of her neck. And then we got into a pair of females that were quite close in that last division, and I think the female that wins that division does so handily for me. She's sound at the ground. Her rib shape is incredible when you study her. She's got that lower swoop and maternal look. Would like to pick her up ever so slightly right there behind her shoulder blades, but one that is being very nitpicky on a female that's so high quality. With that said, I'll get you your Grand and Reserve and your Chianina show. Congratulations on all these breeders for such high quality cattle. Let's give them a nice big round of applause.
Where are we at? Congratulations to our grand champion, Chianina. Female went to entry 2531 TSSC BT Blackberry 4612M, exhibited by Addison Fenning. And our reserve went to entry 2227 Stotler's Who's Who, exhibited by Paisley Mumford.